Hello, I'm going to be reviewing Generation Kill, which is a Band of Brothers style TV show set in Iraq. This 7-episode long series consists of various missions that Recon Company, who the show is based around, are sent on. Missions can entail anything and everything, from setting up critical ambushes and roadblocks to clearing tanks off of the battlefield which have been destroyed by artillery days beforehand. Rank, I found, to play a big role in Generation Kill, as the higher-ups meet at every beginning of an episode maybe to discuss what missions are going to be tasked to what company, because there are other companies other than Recon, but Recon is really the main one. Discuss missions that are tasked to the company, giving brief outlines of where the company will be heading, what they will be doing there. As information is passed down the hierarchy of command, the specific tactics and training, along with equipment, come into play, as allowing the commanders that have been given quite vague information during the briefing about their missions. They're allowed to then show their own initiative and sort of apply the training that they have obviously been given to the mission at hand. Generation Kill shows the variety of ways a commander could deal with this, as in each character reacts to this in their own ways, allowing the viewer to be sympathetic and judgmental at the same time, because they obviously encounter various tough missions, and they will just encounter tough missions, and how they deal with it is very, very interesting, because they go off on their own little adventures, which I'm not going to spoiler, so that'd be bad. The mission briefings themselves are given as if the audience is one of the commanders receiving the orders. The briefing, you can tell they've scripted it specifically with the viewer in mind, because they're just explaining very, very clearly what they're doing and where they're going. It gives the viewer a good sense of the objectives and goals that the characters are being given, and it keeps you interested in where they're going and why they're doing it, and it puts a sense of purpose behind their missions. The way the mission-based communication is passed is effectively portrayed in Generation Kill. It shows how a slight misunderstanding or miscommunication can lead to embarrassing and sometimes fatal accidents. This can also affect different characters' morale in different ways. So they could order in an airstrike for one sector and then get a single number wrong, and they'll start bombing innocent civilians, and then that can obviously affect the soldiers differently, and it happens. Shit happens. It's war, okay? Shit happens. But moving on. Generation Kill is heavy in its use of military jargon for realism, I guess, but it's overused a lot. I mean, some conversations where you really wish you knew what was being said you just lose it, and it's not really helpful for the viewer. I mean, you want the viewer to know what's going on instead of just giving them gibberish, which is what jargon is, really. I watched it a while ago, so I couldn't really give an example. Between meals, sleeping, and firefights of the Recon Company, the men find themselves in a constant state of boredom. The characters counter this by singing songs and bitching about how orders can sometimes not make any sense, and the constant banter involving strong racial slurs. Race has a good effect on the relationships between the men, and the show makes a point of stating that they're all in the fight together, they're all in the army, they're all there to protect each other and complete missions, and it hints at a brotherhood that surpasses race. Combat stress also plays a large role in the characters' lives in Generation Kill. Generation Kill portrays well the spectrum of characters that deal with this in a variety of ways. It keeps the show interesting and allows you to appreciate the constant danger that they face, letting the viewer connect with various men and characters, allowing them to think of what they'd do in similar situations as the men are reacting to this danger in different ways. May have just repeated myself. You can tell that the writers of the show have been doing research into the social tendencies and experiences that soldiers have, as they include what can only be known by soldiers who have seen action and combat. A good example of this experience is shown that in one scene in the show, in which Lee Tergerson, an actor playing a Rolling Stones reporter that follows Recon Company, he offers tactical information to the True Blood actor who I like, Alexander Skarsgård. He's the blonde one, he's very cool. And he's one of the ranking officials. So this reporter turns to the ranking official and suggests that the enemy may be hiding amongst some trees behind them, because they're scouting out a position ahead of them. And Alexander's character then points out that there are birds chirping in the trees. A lackey further explains, who's just sitting about, that if there were enemies hiding in the trees, the birds would not chirp, and that's how, like, you can guarantee that an enemy is not behind you, as in, like, that's experience. That's experience that I think only someone in a combat situation who has been in that experience and had that know-how would know. I thought that was a good touch and gave it a good sense of realism. I may just be chatting shit, you know. Where am I? The show spans across the invasion and occupation of Iraq in 2003. Major differences between the American and Iraqi culture are outlined with the help of a translator who was on the American side. He's a good character. I won't give anything away, but he's got a good character. Blends well with the capitalist side of Americans. But differences such as lifestyle, as the Iraqis have a dictatorship and the Americans coming from capitalism having, I would say, an easier life, but whatever. Excuse me. Yeah, the Iraqis coming from a dictatorship, they also mourn differently, that's outlined very well. They have a very strict religion that comes into it quite a bit, and a few other divides in the culture, really. My opinion of Generation Kill. I found Generation Kill to be an excellent portrayal of the war in Iraq. With all its army jargon, I still managed to get the main plot clear. I found the main plot was clear to all audiences. All of the characters are unique and have their own entertaining and annoying traits that make the show fun to watch and develop. The banter is pretty funny, and they have discussions throughout the show in which characters share their own unique opinions on war and killing and the different situations that arise in war. Some of which are funny, some of which are thought-provoking. I felt I would enjoy this show much more if I was American, as some of the jargon obviously went over my head because it's military, various jargon that I didn't really get. I did enjoy the show, and at 7 episodes over the season, I can guarantee you that it will continue to shock and excite at every turn. You know, 7 episodes, it's nothing. 45 minutes a pop, obviously. Yeah, just coming up to the end. Fantastic show. 7 episodes, you can't go wrong. I'm going to be doing a few other shows. Anything you want me to review, I've got a few. Jericho, Rome, a few others. Comments, please. Thank you. Stop!